So for my topics, the ones I was assigned was describe what you could do in a difficult work situation to protect yourself from falling prey to fundamental attribution error. According to simplepsychology.com, the fundamental attribution error or correspondence bias or over attribution effect is a tendency for people to overemphasize dispositional or personality-based explanations for behaviors observed in others while underemphasizing situational explanations. In an oversimplification, this is judging a book by its cover. In my experiences, people tend to be more than what they seem. I have dealt with people that that many in society consider quote unquote lower class or bad people that are genuinely the nicest people that I've ever met. I've also found that people who have had bad experiences that have led them to being either homeless or in recovery, for example, are people who appreciate every little bit of help they can get. Some people see these people for their appearance or situation now without even taking a second to figure out how they got there. The best way to keep this issue from happening is to keep an open mind, listen to the situation, and make an assessment on the information at hand and not what is perceived. The people who have had it rough normally will understand their issues and be willing to work to get those issues resolved. When you've been to the lowest parts, it's really easy to accept defeat. And for those who have not done that and have continued to push through and try to better themselves, those are usually the people that not only want help the most, but need it and are most susceptible to accepting the help that you might be able to offer them. The next one that I was given was you join a company where managers regularly reprimand their direct reports in front of others, play favorites, and encourage coworkers to report one another for making small mistakes. Based on Bandura's social cognitive theory, what sort of company culture is likely to spring from these practices? How would a new employee seek to get ahead at such company, and what extent would efforts to succeed in this culture directly benefit the company's shareholders? Well, Albert Bandura proposed that we learn by observing, imitating, and modeling behavior of others within our social context. That's from page 82 of the textbook. While this example is not a good practice in my opinion, that would breed an unhealthy work environment, this seems to be the standard these days. I have never had a manager that did not play favorites. I've had some managers who have at least been courteous enough to berate their employees in their office, but that's even rare to this day. However, the encouraging of reporting small mistakes may be the worst when combined with the other factors. A rift in the staff will begin to happen and sides will begin to form, creating a toxic work environment, at least in my experience. In order for a new employee to get ahead, they would likely find out who the favorite is and try to emulate the behavior as they see it. In theory, it would benefit the company because it's likely that the people who are not one of the favorites will likely leave and they can be replaced with new employees who are following those approved behaviors. Now, in my experience, that is very seldom what actually happens. The people that are not following the approved behavior will continually not meet those standards and would then lead to the people who are meeting those standards, the ones who might be the favorites, to have to pick up the slack until the eventual frustration starts to boil over and they either leave or they point to where they leave and the only people that will be left of the company are the ones who are not following the practices. I definitely understand that in the theory that those people would probably, the bad ones would eventually hate getting pointed out for making mistakes and things like that, and they may even adjust their ways to be one of the favorites. But in my experience, that's not actually what happens. They're very, very seldom do those people change. They may get removed from the company, and then those people who are good are then again forced to pick up more slack until they get frustrated to the point where they might leave. It's definitely, if it works, it's fantastic, but in my experience, it doesn't usually.